Hello, everybody. I'm Diane Grissel. I'm also known as Silver Disobedience, and this is the Silver Disobedience Perception Dynamics podcast, where we explore the operating systems of society. And today, whoa, do I have a great topic for you and a super guest. I want to start with a question. What if the greatest period of your life actually began when society tells you, you should start to slow down a little, take it easy, don't overload yourself? Well, my guest defied that advice. It's Aleta St. James who is with me today. And Aleta is an author, an energy healer, and an entrepreneur who, at age 57 years old, gave birth to twins. So we're going to have a great conversation about ageless living. Thank you, Aleta.
I am so happy to be here. You are so jazzed with energy, Diane.
Because I'm excited about this interview.
Me
very
too.
much.
Me too. Really.
Okay.
We're on the same vibe. We definitely are. Well, you know what's interesting?
Tell me.
Now I'm 77. And when I first was pregnant, the naysayers would say, what are you going to look like when you're in your 70s and your kids are 20? And oh my God, you'll be decrepit and whatever. And I said to them, better then than I do now. And you know what? It's true.
Well, there's a lot to be said about getting a hormone surge midlife.
Yeah.
Because I know I got a load of it when I was 40, when I gave birth to my first child, and 43.
All right.
And then I went and had a hormone check in one of my physicals, and the doctor said to me, you're like raging with hormones. This is rare for someone your age. So, and I credit that to, maybe nicer skin or still having more hair, that later childbirth. But 57 was a lot older.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, I always wanted to have children. And I would tell all my friends, they'd say, when are you going to start? Like when I was 45. Then I was 48, But my grandmother gave birth to twins at 54. Twins. My grandmother gave birth to my mother at 54.
Really?
Yes. And that was 13. So I thought I had all the time in the world because of genetics, epigenetics. My grandmother could do it. I could do it. So when I was about 49, I thought, I better get serious about this. And so I was with a partner and I wanted to have it natural because my grandmother did.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't working because I'd get pregnant. I could have had probably, if I started in my 40s, 13 children like my grandmother. But at 49 or whatever, it wasn't happening. So I had some miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, all right, you have to make a decision. Do you want your genetics or do you want to have babies? And I said, babies. So my fertility doctor, Dr. Jane Miller, said, Aleta, whenever you're ready to do IVF, I'm here with you. I'll help you. And so finally, after the third miscarriage, I went, I can't do it anymore. I can't because and anybody listening that's gone through miscarriages as a woman, it's horrible because you have such hope and expectation.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Especially if it's the second and third one, because every minute you're worried, am I, going to lose the baby or whatever? And because I do energy healing, I upped my level and I was putting great energy in there, but it wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, okay, it's all right. My father was brilliant. My brother, Curtis Lewa, has a photographic memory, Guardian Angels, WOR, whatever, WABC. And I thought, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just want children that I know I'm supposed to have. I just knew it. And a lot of women that I work with that are going through this whole fertility thing, they feel like children are trying to come in. They can feel that urge, that they have to have these children. And I swear I kid around with couples all the time with, men that come in. I say, if it was up to you, we would have no children because only women could go through this because you have to have that drive and that I'm just going to have children no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter about miscarriages, price, whatever I feel, I'm going to have those children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to, because I had done a lot of energy healing work to be a master energy healer that I am.
Uh-huh.
But I thought, I got to up my game. So I went to the fertility temples in India, all right,
Oh, my goodness.
with a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Bassoon.
Mm-hmm.
He was into the whole Hindu thing, and I've studied all the different religions, Buddhism, Hinduism. I was born a Catholic, but everything, eclectic.
Uh-huh.
And we went, he was in the Air Force at one point, and we went to like 19 temples in like 8 days in southern India. I did all the fertility practices and ceremonies and things of that nature. And it was like something out of Tomb Raiders. It was unbelievable because down in the South, it's ancient. You're going into ancient temples. And I remember one temple, fertility, right? There were all these women with their children just chanting and praying because they wanted their children.
Uh-huh.
And we went up into a whole place, and normally they wouldn't let somebody like myself in, a Caucasian woman, blonde, whatever. But I had a letter from a guru that gave me carte blanche to go into any temple down in the South with my sari. I went up into the whole top of it. It was like out of a film. And all these people, these Hindus were chanting and chanting. They opened up this energy, and I swear I felt like the light was just coming into my whole body and right into my uterus in terms of bringing in my children. Then I went to Peru, and I work with the shamans in Peru. This is, years and years ago, 25 years ago, 26 years ago. Now people are doing that now.
Yes.
And I had another awakening, and the beautiful awakening was I'm doing the ceremonies in the jungle with the shamans, and all of a sudden, I opened up to the Divine Mother because we have so much alpha energy as women here because we're go, 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 do, do, do. And that's why part of the fertility is really difficult because we don't have that yin energy. So I was going to go yin in the jungles of Peru, yin. So I opened up to the goddess, the feminine goddess, right? And all of a sudden, towards the end of this whole ceremony, a little baby monkey came up beside me, like tiny little baby monkey. And I just grabbed it, and it grabbed me, and its mother had died.
Oh.
So I adopted this little monkey, baby monkey, for about 3 more days while I was in the jungle there. And so I'll never forget the Dr. Shear, right? He's my fertility doctor, right? So at 54, I go in and I said, look, I have to do this. I just have to do this. And then I show him the picture of me with the baby monkey. And he goes, yes, Aleta? I go, you see this? Yes.
Where are you going with this?
Going with this? And I went, I was in the jungle. We were doing the ceremony. I opened to the goddess. All of a sudden, the baby monkey came in. Do you get what's happening? And he goes, well. And I said, I have to get pregnant. This is a sign. So he was on board. So between Dr. Shear and Dr. Jane Miller, I wound up having twins at 57. But it was a journey because, and the thing that's really great, Diane, is no matter whatever I do in my life, that's a challenge, I grow through it. I definitely grow through it. Like just doing the fertility thing, doing everything that you have to do nutritionally and the detoxes and the spiritual, evolving energy because, and we were talking about this before.
Yes.
You were bringing it up. Your thoughts are things. And if you have negative belief systems in your subconscious that are imprinted in there, that's how you start to make your decisions about things. And you think that you're dealing with your conscious mind, that is like 10%. Your subconscious mind is 90% of how we function. So I had to go back and just reinvent my brain in terms of, okay, you can have children at 57. And now I'm 77 and I'm going to live to 120. Now, when I was...
That's a good number. That was one of my favorite books.
Did you read the 120 Club?
Roy Walford, was it, who wrote that?
I don't know, but I know I was being interviewed after I was pregnant. And of course, he said, what are you going to do? How are you going to blah, blah. I said, well, I'm going to live to 120. And he said, oh, Aleta, I'm in that club. I said, what? He said, yeah, there's an 120 club. I said, you're kidding me. He said, no, it's in the Bible. So now I'm into the ageless factor. In fact, I have a book proposal out there, and it's called Finding Aleta, the Ageless Factor, in terms of you want your body to keep up with your spirit. And you mentioned,
huge.
Yes, you mentioned that. Like, I don't think of aging. I don't think, I think 77 years young. That's what I feel. And
well, the funny thing about aging is time is a very hard thing for me to contemplate.
Right.
You know, the past, the present, the future, it all just kind of feels like it's right now.
Brilliant. That's how it's supposed to feel.
It does.
Do you know, Diane, do you know how long it takes people to meditate to get into the present? Hours, weeks, months. That you've got the whole thing down. It's like...
I'd like to believe that.
I'm telling you.
You can ask my children. They might say something different.
Look, mothers never know anything. You know that. I know nothing. I know nothing, right? You know nothing. I know nothing. My twins, they're hysterical, all right? But the fact of the matter is, if you really look at how you manifest and how you stay young, you have to be in the present. And the mind goes into the past or fear of the future. So it's the pain of the past, the fear of the future. It takes so much practice, meditation for hours, emotional energy release work to stay in the present. So through your life, you naturally evolve to that understanding. So that's amazing, because that's the place that you can manifest from. And if you notice, everybody's talking about manifesting. Yeah. We're manifesting.
Manifestation and authenticity are two words that are a little bit overused these days. But how would you define manifestation from your perspective?
Okay. One of the things that's really important when you're thinking about manifesting is that you never think it's impossible. So I never thought that having twins was going to be impossible. I never thought that living to 120 was going to be impossible. None of it. That helps, because when you're starting to say affirmations or getting your mind to go around that possibility, that really helps. However, because I've done a lot of energy work and emotional release work and body work and primal therapy and healing with light, it's not just enough to say, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm, young and vibrant and da-da-da-da. If in your subconscious, you don't believe that. Because it's like putting paint over, a dirty wall. It'll come out.
Well, that's where I believe action has to come in.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're living in a state of cognitive dissonance. You're saying one thing, but you're acting in another way, and you can't tie the two together.
Now, what stops people from doing that is emotionally in their subconscious, it's going, no, you're not. No, you're not. So when I'm working privately with people, say in fertility, here's our first brain, our second brain is in our solar plexus, other people's information on how we should be. The third brain is your uterus. So if I the person could have spent $125,000 trying to get pregnant.
Do men have a third brain? Since they don't have a uterus.
Well, actually, that's I could say something, but I'm not going to say
No,
it.
and I love men.
Diane.
I love men very much. So I'm just curious
Well,
since you just said that.
Right, but
and I'm very spontaneous in my childish way of thinking through things sometimes.
No, it's very intelligent, okay? So if a man had a third brain, and they say this all the time, if a man had a third brain and it was in his groin area, what do you think it would be?
I'd say pretty powerful.
Yeah, right.
Attractive.
Right. If they use the energy right.
The yin and the yang to women.
Exactly. Right. So that third brain, all right, so I'll put my hands on somebody. And then all of a sudden, I'll pick up all the reasons why they don't want to get pregnant. They had difficult mothers. They don't want to become that. Financially, they're afraid they're not going to be able to help, finance the child or children. And they don't trust their partner. those are three of the common
Big
things that
ones.
come up. Are they consciously thinking about this? No, they've spent $125,000 in fertility situations. All right. So once we get, okay, why are you feeling that? And we can go back to when they made that decision. And epigenetically, if your mother, my mother, was having horrible times when they were pregnant, epigenetically, we get that into our body. So all of a sudden, for 18 months from the beginning of when we're conceived to 18 months after, whatever the mother's feeling, the baby thinks it's them. So if the mother had a hard time with pregnancy or she was unhappy in her relationship or whatever, we get that. So here we are, loving having this great relationship, wanting to get pregnant, but the subconscious imprint is going, no, dangerous. You can't. It's not a good idea. You're going to lose yourself, blah, blah, blah. So then I help that person connect to it, release it, and then put another belief system in, because the brain can't tell a difference between real and unreal. So if you actually program a different scenario and bring in the higher frequency, which I spent hours meditating on, right, to bring it into my system, the person actually becomes what they want. So all that negativity no longer is ruling them and driving them. So that's with everything. That's with finances, when people have a hard time with their money. That's with relationships. That's with, why am I doing what I'm doing? Well, nobody's doing that to you. You're creating your own reality. So let's change your reality. Let's bypass that negativity in your subconscious, rewire your brain, and then your body, which deals with your emotions. I have to tell you this. Okay.
You tell me.
All right. When I was acting, because I had a very good show business career. I went to school in England, studied acting at East 15 Acting School, which was then very avant-garde, Joan Littlewood, whatever. Now it's like the top school. And I took my daughter there 2 summers ago because she's into the theater, Francesca. Okay. So there, I had the lead in Hair. And, played Sheila, Good Morning Starshine, da-da-da-da.
I love that song to this day.
I do too. And Easy
When
to Be
Donovan
Hard.
sings it, I have to stop and listen to every word.
Right. And how about Aquarius? I love Aquarius.
Age of Aquarius. What was that? The Fifth Dimension.
Yes.
I'm really dating myself. I think that was one of my first singles I got as a kid.
Right. It was great. It was
I'm 45.
But then when I finished that, I knew I had to get back to America. And when I got back to America, it was like, who was I? So when I went to audition for Jesus Christ Superstar and I was standing in line, I never thought that they wouldn't be like, oh my God, here's the star of Europe. It's like they said next. And I went, I actually said, now I laugh. I said, did you see my resume that I had? And they said, yeah, next. Because, there's a whole thing that goes on in show business in terms of casting or whatever. They just, most of the time, just do that because they have to. They already had a cast. So then I was like shocked. So I went to my singing. And then there's a girl that was behind me. And she said, look, I have a singing teacher, Golly Campy. You just need to go see her. So that's how God works. Because if I didn't get like the boot off the stage in that theater, I can't even remember where I auditioned, I would have never found Golly. And Golly was amazing. She was like in her 70s, an opera singer. She loved me and I loved her. And she said, you should get into concept therapy. Change your thoughts. Now, that was way back when I was like 22. So 22 years old, I started studying like how thoughts are things and how you have to think, positively and all affirmations. And this chiropractor, Thurman Fleet, downloaded it for 7 days, was writing on, his walls to get it all out and started this whole movement.
I hope he didn't live in New York City because writing on your walls in New York City can be very... I lost a deposit one time for writing on my walls. Yes.
Oh, my God.
I heard a William James quote on the wall. Obstacles are what you see when you take your eye off the goal or something like that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unenlightened landlords.
Yeah. Couldn't paint
Unenlightened landlords.
Yeah. Couldn't paint over that Sharpie.
Oh my God. Anyway, no, he was in Texas. All right. Thurman Fleet was in Texas. Okay, but then I did all this concept, thoughts or things, whatever. Then I went to an acting class. I won't mention the name, but he loves me. Oh, I can't believe, where have you been? Oh, blah, blah. You're going to make it so big here, yada, yada, yada. But then the second time I got up to do like a scene, he shredded me to bits. And I didn't know why. He wouldn't just like, you're not connected and blah, 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 blah. So then this wonderful, he's a dear friend, like a brother, Thurman Scott, came up to me after and he said, you should go do this primal workshop. We do this primal workshop. It's on 72nd Street. It's on the top of a loft. And all actors are there. And you'll get into your feelings and da-di-da. And so, of course, I went. Like, I went to concept therapy. I went to the primal workshop. So going all the way up the 7 flights of steps. We get in there and people are screaming their guts out about how much they hate
I
their
remember
mother.
when primal therapy started with all the screaming.
Screaming, yelling. And then I thought, where the hell is Thurman? Excuse my French. Thurman was always late. Thurman was late to his first marriage wedding thing. James Earl Jones was his like best man. 10 minutes late, but usually it's like an hour, right? Where's Thurman? And people are screaming and yelling. So finally Thurman arrives. And I thought, well, hey, I got nothing to lose, right? So I laid down, I started breathing, and all of a sudden this stuff started coming up emotionally about my father being a merchant seaman and my mother. And then I realized, wow, these are hidden emotions I never knew I had. So then in my work, I put like the concept therapy, how you dealing with your brain and your mind, and the emotional release work, and then the high spiritual work that I was doing, I put them all together. So that I could have like a total transformation when people come to see me. So for the fertility, I've gotten a really great success rate for the fertility because I'm dealing with people that are in their late 30s and going into their 40s. And about 44 is when I've been able to get women pregnant like naturally. When it starts to get a little bit later, then it's, using a donor egg. And the donor egg is a real beautiful option because you have somebody that really is donating something to you that otherwise, unless you could pay $100,000 in Istanbul and get the stem cells, pumped into your own eggs,
right?
You can't do. So anyway, whatever it is, the whole thing is, like with Annie gets it done in the cabs. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's a friend of mine, Ann Cudbill, right? It's like Aleta will get you pregnant. Because the thing is, you want to have somebody that really believes in your vision. When it's hard and you're dropping out and you feel like, oh, it's the worst. If somebody's there going, keep going, you can do this. I did this. I'm, at that
it's kind of like when you're giving birth.
Exactly. Keep going, So anyway, that's exciting for me. And now with this ageless factor, this is like
Tell me about what you mean by the ageless factor.
Well, the ageless factor is at any age. If you're 30, if you're 40, there's women now that are doing Botox at 30 and 40 kind of, I understand that, but 30 and 20s, because they're so used to the photoshopping and the Instagram that nobody wants wrinkles or anything anymore. It's like unimaginable. So anyway.
Well, I do think we live in a society now where no one wants to acknowledge that death is as much of a part of life.
Right.
And I come from the belief that once you accept that you are going to die, which is what a lot of people don't want to accept. I believe once you really own that fact, that's actually when you start to live. Because you realize, oh my, I'm on a finite, script here.
It's not forever.
I got to make sure I max it out
Yeah.
in whatever way I can, so I don't turn around the minute that, whenever that time arrives, which nobody gets the advance notice.
Right.
So I view it as, I think acknowledging death is really important, and I don't think enough people do that.
Right. But the thing
That
is,
doesn't mean you can't live an ageless life.
right. You've got a really important point. The thing, I'm going to do a little sidebar because
Sure.
I do a lot of.
We're women. We do sidebars.
Yes, we do 5 things at once. Do you know, when I do couples therapy, I have to remind the women, we can do 5 things at once. They can do 2. So stop.
Well, I don't know. Men are very good percussion players, so they can actually be drummers. So they can
drummers.
actually do a lot of things at once. It's just we do it differently.
Yes.
I think we do. There's definite differences between male and female.
Totally.
But I think we need both.
Yeah. But then, you think of everything. Now bring me back to what we were talking about.
We were talking about death, agelessness, acknowledging death to live more fully.
Yeah, see, when you said drummers, because I used to have
You got distracted.
I got very distracted.
Drummers are distracting.
They're very distracting. I was going to say, Diane, you don't want to date a drummer. But then I went off into my 1950s, 60s, 70s personality. Okay, so we're dealing with death and dying now, okay? Death and dying, all right. So I have helped people die, been there. And what I've noticed, including with my mom, is that it's really the soul that takes you out. Mm-hmm. And you can see the person, all of a sudden, it's like the energy goes out the top of their head.
You do. I've been there.
Yeah. So with my mother, we did everything. Like I had opera music singing, that you could hear that. Everybody went to say goodbye. My brother was there overnight. Nothing. She wasn't moving, okay? Mm-hmm. And then the doctor, I was on my way to take Francesca to school. Doctor said, I think you better get here. Mm-hmm. And I said, Francesca, you want to come with me? And she said, yes. And we went, and I saw my mother was just getting ready to go. Mm-hmm. And they of course, they didn't tell me what they were doing. They wheeled her into another room. I was talking to her. Francesca was talking to her. And then all of a sudden, I saw her just right out the top of her head. So when people are saying, it's like your soul decides, okay, now it's time to go. But you want to, what's the song, Live Like You Are Dying? There's a song, Live Like You Are Dying, which I love that song. I really do.
I don't know that one. I'll have to look it up.
Killer, all right?
Killer, no pun intended.
No, right. It's a killer song. It's a country and western song. I love country and western music. I really do. Mm-hmm. I do. I mean, I sing it. Mm-hmm. I just love it. So anyway, before it became really popular, but I had the cowboy boots, the cowboy hat, the whole thing. I wanted to not marry, but date a cowboy. I haven't never been married yet. I've lived with 5 different men. I've had some really great relationships. I'm feeling like at 77, maybe 78, 79.
You'll think about it.
I'll kind of like go into
think about
direction.
Commitment.
Yeah. Well, you're still committed. It's just that you're free. Because I realized I couldn't go off to India. I couldn't go off to, the jungles or wherever I did to learn all this stuff, from the indigenous people, if I was really married.
Why not?
Because I've noticed, even the most liberal men, when you're in India in the jungle with a group of men, and then you say, hi, honey, I've decided to go off to Peru right now. Do you mind, staying home and dealing with your stuff? And then I'm now doing such and such. That usually doesn't go down too well. In fact, I've noticed that in some of really intense relationships I've had with celebrities that I've lived with, that didn't go around so much because they get a lot of attention from a lot of other women, and you need to be around. So I was so in love with this man, and he was like gorgeous beyond belief, right? And wonderful, big movie star, right? And I was going to go up and do Tibetan mindfulness up in Delhi, New York, in a hermitage for 7 weeks, where you just there from 6 a.m. in this stone hut. You have lunch. You go to the main house for lunch. That's all the people you see. Then my teacher would come for like an hour and ask how I was. And you did mindfulness till 10 o'clock at night, till you went to sleep on a stone thing. So it was like you were in Tibet.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't believe that I was going to do that. of course. Which crazy lunatic in his world would do that? Even though I was in show business at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he didn't want me to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at him. I'll never forget it. And I had the keys in my hand to his apartment. We lived down in the village, of course, right? And I gave them to him. And I said, nobody's going to get in the way of my spiritual development.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And he said to me, are you sure? And I said, yes. And that was it. And I went.
Was that a good choice for you?
Yeah, totally
Okay.
a good choice. Totally a good choice. Because that's what I was supposed to be here to do. And that's with a lot of different relationships. It would come to a point like, I get you, Aleta. You're crazy. I love you. You're the best thing ever. And where are you?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you must have experienced that a lot with children, because children are pretty demanding and
yeah.
really want their mom around or want to know where you are or what you're doing.
Well, I'm lucky because I visualized and manifested, as we're talking about manifesting, a place where I can work out of as well as live a block away with the children.
Yeah.
So I could go there at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I was blessed. I imaged again, manifested a fabulous baby nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And she was able to take care of the children while I was working.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the type, like there's some women that just want to take care of their children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. And I wanted those children. So I wanted them to have the best life they could have. But to be there 24/7 and ends all my healing work with people and everything I had to do, helping other women get pregnant. So I traded it off. I did parts of my, work.
Yeah.
Didn't travel, cut down on the crazy, Amazon jungle because I didn't want to die, on top of a mountain. Where did your mother go?
It is interesting how choices change
Right.
when you accept mortality as a possibility.
Right. Like I climbed up 14,000 feet, to do Machu Picchu, right? That's 14,000 feet. And my dear friend that took me there, she said, aren't you going to train for this? No, I was a dancer and a bodybuilder and I'm fine. And 14,000 feet straight up. You could go ka-chunk.
Oh, sure.
Right down the old cliffo. So mountains, forget it, cliffs. So, and then in the jungle, when you're going down the Amazon and the guy that's driving it has like, an Uzi, and you're wondering. So I had to cut all that out because I wasn't going to leave my kids, without their mother. And so I balanced it as best I could, but I felt like it was bringing like my excitement about life and what are the other things like my show business stuff with my daughter, the whole engineering stuff for Gian. I'm helping him out with that. So they kind of have a fun mother that's very creative for them. And then whatever I have to do, with a housekeeper, she's there, she's great. And people that can come in and help. But there are some women that just want to be with their children. I have women that are top executives that have to work and they just wish they could stay home with their children. And I say, great, well, but you can't. So let's kind of get to terms with that,
What do the next 50 years look like for you, since you've got at least another 50 years to 120?
At least.
Yeah, so.
You're very good with that.
What do those look like?
Down. I got the numbers down.
Well, I always joke and say I'm not sure I'm joking, that I'm going to live to 137 and I want to go out racing in Monte Carlo in F1.
Oh my God.
Something like that.
137.
And say, you know what, I'm going to try to hit the fastest lap.
Yeah.
And if I wipe out, it'll be okay because I will have had a really good life.
Listen to this, Diane. There's a down part to our thing. Is that when I went and I looked at all the men that I lived with and had relationships with, they were all gone.
Well, it's funny. Or it's not funny. It's interesting when I look at all the biohacking that people do, or they talk about wanting to live to forever. I mean, I joke about 137. I'm just
Whatever,
I'm just
right.
happy I wake up in this direction
Yes.
every day, and every day I wake up in this direction, it's a good day for me. And I don't. If it ends tomorrow, I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with all my relationships. I can't think of anybody I need to apologize to.
Same
I lived
here.
through 4 plane crashes, and I learned you better apologize before you can't
Yeah.
have that opportunity.
Right.
So that's pretty much how I think in life. But when I see all the biohacking and somebody says, well, I want to live to, as long as Moses, or I want to live, for forever, you'd miss a lot of people. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to outlive my children.
Right.
And
that's who knows? You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Yeah.
And it's a sad part. When I realized that they were gone.
Yeah.
Because, you look up,
Mm-hmm.
one of them dies, and then you look it up, like 2 or 3 of them, and then 4 of them, and they're not here anymore. I just had a dear friend of mine that passed away in his sleep at 76.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jesus. But then another dear friend of mine said, well, that's the thing. If you're going to live to 120, that's what you're going to have to deal with. So you better keep hanging out with the 40-year-olds. I said, all right. But that's definitely an emotional thing that you have to think about.
Yeah.
But for the next 50 years, all right, I got my kids that I'm supporting and seeing them grow and helping them find their way and what's their passion and purpose.
And how old are they now?
20.
20. Oh, they're just
beginning.
Yeah, they're amoebas.
Yes, they're amoebas. Yes, definitely amoebas, right? My son's hysterical because he wants his girlfriend to live with us. Mm-hmm. And he said, Mom, a man needs a woman. I said, okay, you're lobbying for her to come live here. He said, but it's true, Mom, man. And I said, yeah, you got a good point there.
Well, that's true. And a woman needs a man, and a man needs to get to the point where he's not living with his mother.
Exactly.
So I think there's a reverse to that.
I wasn't smart enough to think of that.
Oh, I rarely think of them in the moment either. I think of them later.
Yes.
And wake up in the middle of the night and say, why didn't I just say that?
Right. Oh, God. But that's what's great about me having children later.
Oh, they challenge you.
They challenge me. It's a different generation. It's the internet. It's the phones. And you have to adapt. You can't do your old.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I had the leading hair. I was kind of a hippie, drama school, la, 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 la. I didn't do the straight line ever. But still, I have to be more liberal. I have to be open to what's going on in this generation. It's very different. Mm-hmm. And it pushes my boundaries. And then I have to adapt and look at what I'm holding on to and what I have to stay firm to in terms of boundaries.
Yeah.
So that's always good for me. I understand my son has very high functioning Asperger's. Mm-hmm. So that it's like God said, okay, now you're going to have to learn about spectrum and autism and Asperger's. And I went, thank you very much, because that's a whole different thing. And so I'm with a whole group for 15, 16 years of women that have children on the spectrum and how to deal with that and how to do the nutrition and how to do all the different kind of things that you can do to rehab their brain to function, not necessarily away from, my son is brilliant at my
to step into it and work with it. Yeah.
At my father's funeral, there was Joe Loda and my brother Curtis Sliwa. And I think Gian must have been about 12, 13 years old. He knew more about the subways than Joe Loda, who was the head of the MTA, and my brother Curtis, who was in the subways forever. And we were laughing. He just knew every cove, every, train that was ditched away someplace and hidden. But he's that smart. He can talk to any professional like he's been around all over the world about trains. That's what Asperger's is, but it also has another downside to it. Thank God, with all the therapy I've done with him and the healing work, he has a lot of empathy. He's functioning really well. He's amazing. And Francesca, she's into theater arts. She'll call me up and say, Mommy, you'll never guess. Then she'll explain. And I said, are they taking focus when you're on stage? How did you know? And I said, excuse me, don't let them do that. Stay in your zone. Da, 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 da. Or I got rejected. They didn't choose me. I said, well, you do the best you can in that role that you have. And she does. When I go to see her in her school, she's brilliant. She holds the stage. She's amazing. Whereas like when she was growing up and going to Lucy Moses, I'd always have to give her notes. I'd be sitting at the rehearsal and then we'd have this fight. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You don't know what you're doing. Blah, blah, blah. But then she'd do it. And she was brilliant. She was always brilliant, but I had to push her. She was always like holding back a little bit. Then we'd have the fight. It's called the FU fight. I would call it the FU fight. And then chug. She was brilliant. So good. Now I don't have to do that. She's just brilliant right there. She's there. I'm so proud of her. So that to me makes me so happy. But, okay, so I have that. That's,
that's part of the next 50 years.
But I have learned so much, and I'm into this ageless factor at any age, that I want women, men to live like every single moment as much joy, having as much joy and fulfillment and success as they possibly can. And then that means that they have to align their emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies with their physical bodies to create that. And I feel amazing when I'm working with people and they want to have a relationship or a baby or get divorced or have another part of their career. I mean, I am the secret weapon behind the scenes of a few celebrities out there because I love supporting people. I also love getting out and doing my thing and working in front of thousands of people to download my healing energy, which I did in Las Vegas last year at Own Your Worth conference. And it was, I love being on stage. I mean, I've sung in front of 2,000, 3,000 people. I love it. There's a feeling that I never get nervous. You get energized. So when I was in front of, Gian had me up. Thank God, he was having a fight with his girlfriend. We're in Las Vegas. One of those FU fights. We were breaking up. I couldn't sleep. I said, Gian, I have to perform at 9:30 in the morning. I have to do this whole big thing. Are you insane? Chill, Mom. I just have to deal with this. So I got no sleep. Now for a singer, because I was singing also, I had everybody on their feet dancing. You have to get sleep. Sleep is one of the things that singers need.
I think sleep's one of the things everybody needs.
I know, but especially if you're going to sing. And so I said to myself, guess what? You're the type of singer that needs no sleep. You can go on at 9:30 in the morning and you can just perform and sing your, guts out and you'll be great. So I reprogrammed my brain. So 9:30, I was on that stage and I had, they have virtual. It's a fabulous stage. Tony Robbins owns it. It's a huge big thing, right? And I just knocked it out of the ballpark with singing, getting everybody on their feet, because I had helped Equinox years ago start their wellness program. And I had something called Energy Transformations. And I did something that, chakra balance. So I had everybody moving and releasing all their energy. And they could, because I can heal now from the stage, I could channel the healing energy in, and people were going, oh my God, I can feel this and that lift. That's what I love to do. I love to do massive amounts of people as well as private and really uplift the energy so people can be happier and not be stuck, in the same old. So the ageless factor is you constantly reinvent yourself and say, what else is possible? So if there's a block that happens and something's taking longer to manifest, I always say to myself, okay, what else is possible? Then your brain goes, oh, this. So then you don't loop in what the block is and the delay is, or the relationship that didn't work, or the cheating, or whatever went on, You go, what else is possible? And then your brain goes, that.
Yeah, that's a very powerful statement. I think a lot of people view life as binary. It's either yes or no. It's this or that. It's up or down. I always say, look for number C. Look for try to see C. There's something else out there. What else is possible? What's the next thing what haven't you explored? Or sometimes I'll say, I'll use Elon Musk. If we had to solve a space problem, how would Elon Musk see that problem? Would he see it differently?
Right.
But you can do it with anyone. So if it's a emotional problem, who's the person who inspires your emotions the most? How would they
rebound
from the problem. And
Right.
once somebody removes themselves and they start to say, well, Aleta would, even if it was Diane and I said,
Yeah.
oh, I want to get pregnant today, which God forbid, please not today.
Not today. Not today. Do you have anybody in mind, Diane?
I've been there, done that. I've written, but if that was what I was saying, I would, if I tried, what would Aleta say?
Yeah.
To herself or to me.
And my clients will say that. I always think, like, what would Aleta say?
Mm-hmm.
And then they reframe it.
Right.
So when you think about, okay, your brain, it's not, Candace Pert wrote this Molecules of Emotion. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
I worked with her. Like I worked on her. I went to Washington before she died, which is really sad. But when she went to speak, she was talking about the emotions are in your organs and all these different places of your body. And I said, wow, that's exactly what I know. So I connected with her and then we wound up working together. But then when you say, oh my God, you can do all this amazing stuff you can live think about this. And not everybody's going to agree with this. Mm-hmm. But Eric Butterworth, who was like the big Unity minister years ago, he was in Lincoln Center.
Yep.
Now you never expect him to talk about past lives, but he said 32% of the past lives that people are talking about are actual real. The rest are not. And then you have Dr. Weiss that deals with many lives, many masters. And plus I've done a lot of that work, where you go back in past lives. You don't have to go back and deal with what you haven't dealt with to evolve in this lifetime. In another lifetime, you can evolve and get to a higher level in this lifetime and live a more elevated life if you want to come back.
I totally agree with that. And I mean, I'm a consulting hypnotherapist, and I've been in all kinds of situations, from emergency rooms and in an ambulance and in surgeries, and then in executive offices or in my own office. Yeah. And anytime anyone ever wanted to talk about regression, I personally shut that down.
Yeah.
And because the mind is such an amazing hotbed of imagination.
Right.
So while I think people can look back and look at these many lives that they may have had, they may also be very imaginary, and I've seen them be more hurtful to people. So I've always found that it's most helpful to try to stick in the moment and say, what can I do in this moment? What can I release now? What can I, channel and focus on that's working or not?
Okay, so
I'm a big believer in the present.
Okay. However, and I understand where you're coming from. But because I have certain psychic abilities and I've worked with them for years, I can actually see if something's real or not real. And then because I'm channeling energy, I've never seen somebody that was working with me that went into a place that didn't seem authentic to me. But had they done that, I would still take the trauma and then I bring it into the present. So I don't keep them, okay, so this lover died 75 times and now, he's leaving me again and I'm going to kill myself. I don't leave it like that. I do the release work and then I bring it into the present. But I have second sight, they call it. So, and now that I've been working so much, I meditate from 1 o'clock in the morning to 6. I was telling you that. There's a download of energy that's happened for 7-8 weeks now, all the planetary alignments. So I'm not tired. I get like 4 hours sleep because I'm regenerating through spiritual energy. So I've been able to see energy fields from this life to the, future life, etc. But it takes a lot to be able to do that. You can't just do that. So for 7 or 8 weeks, I haven't done anything but go home, sleep at 10 to 1, and that's it. Then I'm up. So not everybody's going to do that. They want to go out to dinner. They want to have a date. They want to do that kind of stuff. But because I'm able, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, but it's who I am. Because I'm able to do that, very few people can, because they haven't put the time and energy into it, nor should they.
So you're sleeping till 10 to 1 a.m. and you're waking up.
Yeah, and I can't not wake up. So then I meditate or listen to podcasts or, deal with...
Are you on any medication?
No. I'm just on vitamins.
Okay.
Yeah. I do, I'm connected to Vita Soul, which is a clinic that deals with longevity in Mexico that I work with Dr. Frank on. I've done stem cells, some, stuff of that nature, but not that much. When you look at it, I mean, I had cancer like, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago. I can't even remember. I'm not going to say what it was generated by, but anyway, I had it taken out and I didn't go the normal route. I went, because it wasn't that severe.
We'd have to talk about that another time because we can't give medical advice.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're on like the last 2 minutes of our show,
oh my God. Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right, so how do we wrap this up?
How do we wrap this up,
My
Aleta?
whole thing is I'm winding up and not down.
Okay.
I reinvent myself all the time with what else is possible and what are you excited about and what are you supposed to be doing on this planet? Why did you come here? I get passionate out of helping people. I was an entertainer because I wanted to bring people's feelings up. Now I'm a healer. I'm bringing people's feelings up and saying what else is possible in your life that you can manifest. So Life Shift, Let Go and Live Your Dream was my first book. And it's a nationwide bestseller. And it deals with how do you transform energy and how do you live your dreams. Now, Finding Aleta, the Ageless Factor, which is my next book that's going to come out, is basically how do you live with joy and vitality to as long as you're on this planet. And you don't have to get decrepit. You don't have to close down. You don't have to think it's over. It's over when the fat lady sings, as they say. Your soul goes, okay, time to go.
Well, this was so much fun. I could keep talking to you for another 2 hours.
I know. I love this.
Oh, my gosh. My guest today has been Aleta St. James. You are going to find all kinds of contact information below this audio or video version of this podcast, however you're checking it out, so you can follow her, so you can stay in touch, which I highly recommend you do. Aleta, thank you so much for joining me today. This was a great episode.
Oh, thank you, Diane. It certainly was for me. It really was. You have to go to dinner.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Judy. Everyone. And please hit subscribe and share this with your friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.